On Sunday Night Football, the Steelers play the Bills. The Steelers still come in as the number 1 seed. They lost this last week on Monday Night Football to the Washington Football Team. They come in at 11-1. The Bills are the number 3 seed in the AFC. They come in at 9-3. They also played on Monday Night Football, the late game, the actual Monday Night Football. They beat the 49ers. They're 9-3. They're first place in the AFC East. The Steelers lost 23-17 to Washington Football Team. It was a rough game. They had a big lead. They had double-digit lead against the Washington Football Team, and then they blew it. The Steelers have been playing kind of weak, kind of down to their competition the last few weeks. They barely beat the Cowboys. They barely beat the COVID Ravens. The Ravens had a lot of players on the COVID reserve list. They were without their quarterback. They were with a lot of replacement players that shouldn't be starting for NFL teams, and they barely beat the COVID Ravens. So watching those games against the Cowboys, against the Ravens, you're like, okay, like, is this fool's gold? Is this fool's gold what we're seeing from the Steelers? There's a lot to like be weary of when you were watching the Steelers. They look good, but they by no means did they look like they were an 11-0 team. A lot of people call them the most fraudulent 11-0 team. I can see where that comes from because their schedule was pretty soft, and just the eye test didn't really look like an 11-0 team. Usually, if you're an 11-0 team, you're a Super Bowl favorite, and there's a way that you could really visualize that team being a Super Bowl champion. They're 11-0. You're like, okay, they have what it takes to go all the way. When I see the Steelers, even when they were 11-0, I never thought they were better than the Chiefs. I didn't think they could beat the whoever came out of the NFC either. I didn't think they could beat the Packers or the Saints. They looked like a good team, but they didn't look like an amazing team. So that loss to the Washington Football Team, I wanted to call it, but I didn't. Didn't really surprise me though. 11-1. And on the other hand, the Bills are trending upwards. Josh Allen has taken that next step. He looks like a quarterback that could take over games, that it doesn't matter what defense you're playing against. He's going to make plays. He's going to extend plays. He's going to look for receivers down the field. He's going to be able to bring you back in games. Josh Allen put on a show on Monday Night Football. He reminds me a lot of Big Ben. He's just as tough as Big Ben. He's big. He's 6'5", like 240 pounds. He's a mammoth of a player. It's hard to take him down. And he's hard. He's tough. He's tough as nails. If you guys watched the game against the Chargers, there was a sack. I think Joey Bosa sacked him, and Josh Allen fell really awkwardly. I think his left leg got stuck, and he twisted on his knee, and it looked bad. I thought he tore his ACL. I thought there was some ligament damage. I thought for sure, I thought he was going to miss some weeks. And it looked bad. He was laying on the ground for a little bit. They took him out to the sidelines, and then like a couple plays later, he comes back in, and I'm like, dude, what is this man made of? How did this man not get injured? And I've had the same reaction with Big Ben a lot of times, especially when he was younger. I know he missed all of last season with an elbow. But when Big Ben was younger, or when he was in his prime, there was a lot of plays where he'll get sacked from the bottom, sacked from the top, like hit from the bottom, hit from the top, and he just bends like ways that your body's not supposed to bend, and he just gets right back up, and like just picks himself up and starts jogging back to the line of scrimmage after completion. That's Josh Allen. Josh Allen is like the modern version of Big Ben, like a little more mobile, just as big as arm. Big Ben has a big arm. He still has a big arm. He had a bigger arm in his prime, but Josh Allen is basically the modern day version of Big Ben, just able to extend plays, able to run a little bit, tough ass nails. But yeah, Josh Allen, I've been really impressed. He started really hot, and then he kind of teetered off and played a little worse in the middle parts of the season. But he did hurt his shoulder, I believe, and I think it's getting better. As you can see, he's running hard again. And Stephon Diggs has really helped the development of Josh Allen. Having a number one receiver like that in Stephon Diggs really helps develop quarterbacks. I've said it this whole season. I love what the Bills did in trading for Stephon Diggs. I love what the Cardinals did in trading for DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler Murray in his second year. Josh Allen, I believe, in his third or fourth. I'm pretty sure it's his third. Coming on his third year. I like when teams help out their quarterbacks and get them a true number one weapon. Stephon Diggs is having his best season in the NFL this year, and he put on Monday Night Football. He put on a show too. He had Verrett, he had Richard Sherman on him, and he was making them dance. He was shaking them. there was like a 5-yard out play where he cuts in. He kind of like does his little movement on the line. I don't know what you call it, like breaking down. And then he went right, and then he looked at the quarterback, and then broke left, and he just destroyed Verrett. It was one of the highlights of the game, and everybody was talking it on social media. Like the gap he created between Jason Verrett and himself on a 5-yard route, that was impressive. He's one of the best route runners in the NFL. Him and Keenan Allen are probably, and Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, and Keenan Allen are probably the best route runners in the NFL, in whatever order you want to put them in. But that has really helped the development of Josh Allen and Cole Beasley in the slot. Cole Beasley's a great route runner too, small, quick, shifty. So Stephon Diggs, Beasley in the slot, I think they're going to be too much for that Pittsburgh defense. Pittsburgh is going to have some injuries in their linebacker court. And Joe Hayden got hurt last game. He's being evaluated for a concussion. So we'll see how that defense holds up. That's the bread and butter of that team. Their defense, the Steelers go as their defense goes. They have one of the best defenses in the NFL, but they are getting hit by injuries at this point in the NFL season. And the Steelers' play overall hadn't been that strong the last few weeks. It looked like a loss was coming. It finally came against the Washington football team, but it looked like it was a long time coming. It looked like they should have lost maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And the Pittsburgh rushing offense, I think the Pittsburgh, to help out their defense, they need to have long drives, keep them nice and fresh, so when they come onto the field, they're rejuvenated and they're able to play to their peak level and they're able to carry that team. But Pittsburgh rushing offense is one of the worst in the NFL. Against the Washington football team, they ran for 21 yards on 13 attempts. So they didn't even really attempt to run the ball. They used the short passing game as an extension of the running game. But even that wasn't really working against the Washington football team. Big Ben threw the ball 53 times. Big Ben's like 38 years old. I believe he's 39. Big Ben's like 39 years old. There's no reason he should be throwing the ball 53 times. And it's just exposing himself to making costly turnovers. They need to find a run game. If they're not able to find a run game, I don't give them a chance against the Bills, and I don't think they will. Ultimately, I don't think they will. And I think the Bills offense is just going to be too much for the Steelers defense on Sunday Night Football. I do have it being a close game. Sunday Night Football games, this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to come down to maybe the last possessions. I love when Sunday Night Football games are good. I think Sunday Night Football is the best primetime game of the week. Better than Thursday Night Football, better than Monday Night Football. I love Sunday Night Football. I like their commentators. I like Collinsworth. I like Al Michaels. I'm sidetracking. I like Sunday Night Football, but I think this is gonna be a good game. I do have the Bills getting the victory. I don't think it's gonna be that high scoring. Maybe it's gonna be 27 Bills, 24 Steelers is my prediction. 27 Bills, 24 Steelers is my prediction. The Bills keep moving up, and then once this happens, the Bills will just be one game behind the Steelers with the head-to-head advantage. So the Bills might steal the second. In my opinion, they might steal the second seed from the Steelers, but that doesn't mean anything now in the NFL. There's 7 teams make the playoffs. Only one team gets a bye, and I don't have the Steelers or the Bills getting the bye. I have the Chiefs getting the bye. So in the end, if they fluctuate from 2 to 3rd, it might not make that big of a difference, but I do have the Bills beating the Steelers 27-24 on Sunday Night Football.